Today we are going to see another interview question. What is hoisting in JavaScript? Hoisting in JavaScript is a mechanism where the variables and the function declarations are moved to the top of their scope. In JavaScript, we have a different scopes. We have a block scope, we have a function scope, we have a global scope, we have a local lexical scope, and we have a module scope. So let us get started. Variables, those are declared with a var, get hoisted, and the variables, those are declared with a let and the const does not get hoisted. Meaning only the variable declarations are moved to the top of their scope, not the value associated to them. So let us get started with an example. So I'll create a variable where first name. I'll not assign a value to the variable and I'll try to access this variable here. Let's see what we'll be getting an output for this one. So let me save it and run the code. Node. So you see, we get it as an undefined. Now let me assign a value to this variable and see whether we are able to access a value associated to that variable. Let me run the code one more time. You see, we are not able to access a um, we are not able to access the value of that variable. But if I try to take this and put it over here, now we will be able to access the value of that variable. So it is not throwing us an error. It is giving us an undefined. So what happens is like in the JavaScript, the code gets executed synchronously. That is nothing but line by line. So when we created our variable called as the first name with the var keyword, the memory space get occupied for this name, and at the first time it return as an undefined. But when the code gets run, the value get assigned to this one. So let me just show you what it means after the execution, and I'll give this here before the execution. So now let me clear the terminal and rerun the code. You see, before the execution, we got it as an undefined. The moment the JavaScript code got executed, we got an output. This is a hoisting with a var. So variable, those are declared with the var keyword, get hoisted. And it is always advised not to declare any of your variable with a var. Will we be able to achieve the same thing with a let and the const? No. Variable those are declared with a let and the const does not get hoisted. So let's get started with a let and the const. Let me declare a variable. Let me declare a variable with a let. Let name is equals to Ravi, and let now let's try to access this variable before I console log it. Console.log of name. Let me comment out this code and rerun the program. You see, before I even run the program, we got an error. What is the error we got? You see, before we even run the program, we got an error. Cannot access the name before an initialization. So the variable those are declared with a let and the const, we won't get hoisted, and the let and the const follow the block scope. Let me declare with a const last name is equals to Raju, and let's get call this over here and let's run the code. Let me clear the terminal. You see, cannot access the name before initialization. But if I change this to a var, you see, you will be able to see the output of that code. Where is that? Okay, this is throwing us an error. Let me comment out this one and let me clear the terminal and let's rerun the code. You see, we get it as an undefined. So the let and the const does not get hoisted, and the let and the const follow the block scope. It is always advised to declare your variable using a let and the const. Now, since we have seen a hoisting with a variable declaration, let's just get started with a function declaration. Function declaration get hoisted means let's declare a function greeting. Let's return hello world. So what will happen? With the variable declaration, we got an undefined. But with a function declaration, do you think that we will be getting it as an undefined? Now you will be scratching your head. Why are we not? Let's clear the terminal before I show you the code. Yeah. So how did we even get an hello world? When I said a variable declaration and a variable and the function declaration get hoisted, variable declaration we got a undefined, but with the function declaration we are not getting a undefined. As I said, in the JavaScript, when the code gets executed for the variables, the memory get occupied with a variable name, but with the function, when the first time it reaches, it occupies the function in the memory. So as I said before, I'll give it this as a before execution, and let me take this and keep it here after execution. So let me rerun the code. If you see, before execution we got the hello world, and after execution also we got the hello world. So in the JavaScript, the variables and the function declaration get hoisted. Let and the const does not get hoisted. Let us try to change this with like this. Const, let's keep this an arrow function and see what is the output we will be getting it. First, before running the code, let me clear the terminal and let's run the code. You see, we got an error. Cannot access the greeting before an execution. Console log before execution greeting. The moment it runs the code and the moment the JavaScript comes to the line number 19, it calls the greeting function, and the moment it sees the greeting function is declared with a const and it's an arrow function. Since the const and the let does not get hoisted, it throw us the error. It did not even came to the line number 22. So let me just change this to var and see what is the output that we are going to get. Let me clear this. We got another error. Greeting is not a function, and now this time it's an arrow function. So arrow function also has a separate meaning in the JavaScript. Let's just clear this. Your function. Let's clear the terminal. See, before and after we are getting the same thing. So this is all about the hoisting. In next video we will be learning more about the function scopes in the JavaScript. Thank you.